Great. Well, Ben, nice to see you ahead of our last away game of the season coming up against York on Saturday.
Yep.
Uh, Firstly, before we talk about that, any more reflections on last Saturday's win, the Dagenham game?
Obviously, we're delighted to get the points. Big game for us, as they all have been now for a number of weeks. We spoke in the dressing room afterwards, and we spoke since. We weren't really at our best. I don't think we were under any illusions on that. We could have played better. We could have created more. There's little percentages in everything we did that wasn't at our absolute top level, and we've played. I think we've played significantly better and lost games this season. But having said that, things do even out over time, and I don't think you could say we weren't worth the result. I think we were worth at least a draw, maybe potentially worth the win by the end of the game. But we were by no means at our absolute best, and we're hoping that we can sort of take a step at least back towards that this weekend.
And obviously, it was another 3 points over the 50. What's the feeling in the camp as we now approach the York game?
Well, we're not mathematically safe. That's the overwhelming,
Yeah.
the main thing to think about. Everyone knows that's based on simple maths. We're not mathematically safe, so we're in a position where we can't relax. We're not on our holidays, and we have to go and try and get some more points on the board again. So that's the main focus of the staff, the manager, and all the players.
And the manager mentioned that in training this week, I think a number of players were coming back. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got a bit of a headache, hasn't he, ahead of Saturday in terms
Yeah,
of the game.
certainly.
But it's good to have a competition for places.
Of course it is, yeah. We've had Manny back in full training. We've had Timmy back in full training. We've had Walker back in full training, and we've had Tunji back in full training, all in the same week now. Timmy's not been out long, so that's not a huge issue in terms of how much he's done and how ready he will be and how available he will be for selection. Whereas the other three have been out for probably a more significant period of time, where you almost have that. You've got to get your fitness back. You've got to get yourself back going again. The confidence in the injury, the confidence in the rest of your body, and you have to, probably a few more sessions behind what Timmy would need, having only missed a couple of weeks. So it's great to have them back. They've trained really, really well. Really good attitudes, all of them, in training towards getting themselves back and helping us with, like I say, trying to get these last remaining points that we're going to need. How ready they are for starting the game of football on Saturday is certainly, it's not a given. We need to assess that and see what the best options are, because we've me and the manager have played ourselves, and you can train very well, but sometimes it's just getting that bit more training into your tank, so you know that you're fully ready, because we certainly don't want to be taking risks on these players when they've worked so hard to get back to where they are.
And it was worrying, talking about injuries, it was worrying on Saturday to see Alan Judge go off because he's had a long journey back from injury. How's he?
Judge has got a hamstring injury, and he's going to need a bit of time to come back from that. The initial reaction was the fact that we were relieved it wasn't his knee, because we know how long he'd been out and how hard he'd worked to get back from that. But he does have a hamstring injury. The scanner's revealed that and shown what he's up against. And he's going to be taking the next steps now to start the recovery from that. We're obviously gutted for him, because one, he's worked very, very hard to get back where he is, which was first team football, and he was looking very good, and he was looking like an asset to us. And two, he's a really good guy, which makes it a little bit worse, I think, when someone is a genuinely nice person, and you've got that little bit of, you build up that little bit of a feeling for what they've gone through, and they were back in a good place, and then to have an unfortunate incident like that. But sometimes when you've been out a long time, a little muscle injury can follow after a significant injury, which you've been rehabbing for months, if not up to a year sort of time frame that he was on, and hopefully it's that kind of that's he's the victim of that, which a lot of players have been there, including myself, and that can happen. So we just wish him all the best now of his recovery, and we're obviously going to be here for him to do whatever we can to try and help him get back again.
Yeah, I'm sure fans would echo that, wishing him well. So looking ahead to the weekend, York are calling this their biggest game of the season. I think it's going to be close to capacity, very passionate crowd as they desperately need the points. So What does that mean for players when you're going into that sort of big, passionate crowd game away?
I think it's good for us. I really do. We've got 2 more points than them, haven't we? We've played the same amount of games, I think, based on the league. So we we're under no illusion. We know mathematically we don't have enough points. So if they've got 2 less than us, of course they're going to think that they're not there yet either. So in that respect, it makes it a cracking sort of fixture on paper, really, because 2 teams that are still strongly playing for something towards the end of the season, they can be really good games, can't they? And it keeps our lads motivated, knowing that we're going there. Big club, lovely ground. Watched a couple of games there last season with the manager. Really nice ground, like you say, good following. They've incentivised it, as you've said, in terms of ticket reductions in prices and stuff to try and pack it out. And look, they need the points, don't they? There's no doubt about it. But like I say, until we're mathematically safe, we're in that mindset we need the points. So, it'll be set up to be a good game. They've picked up under the new manager, slightly different style of play that we've seen on the videos that we've watched. We've identified their strengths and weaknesses, and we go there like no other game, really. No different to any other game, in that we want to win. And we know what we want to do, and we know what we think we're good at, and we're going to try and impose that on them. And I'm sure they'll do the same the opposite way. So it'll be an interesting game.
And finally, I think there'll be a good turnout of Woking fans as well. And last away game of the season is often fancy dress and various things, but they'll be in good spirits, and they've done well for the club themselves, haven't they, over the last few weeks?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, this is a long way up. I was at the last game last season at Solihull, the Woking last away game, and like you say, the fancy
Cardinals
dress, that sort of.
There was Cardinals and Where's Wally's and all sorts.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. This time's a lot further to go. Solihull will only be halfway up, won't it? But it's a long way to go, and we obviously encourage them to follow us wherever they can and support us like they have done, because it's been a real help to ourselves and the players, and hopefully they can get a bit of nice weather, get up there and have a nice sort of end of season away trip that we want. But our focus will obviously be on the game. Like I say, we need a few more points to sort of get to what we want, to where we feel we are mathematically secure, and then we can really start planning forward for the club. Till we're mathematically safe, we wouldn't dare jinx planning any further in the next game. We just wouldn't.
No. Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Ben. Travel well, and we'll see you up there.
Cheers. Thank you.